Hi guys, welcome to my new video. As you probably you may have seen from the title, this is about the PSP retrospective, where I'll be talking about the PSP, my history with it, and I'll give you an overview of the consoles and the top 10 games and my collection. The PSP, as you can see here, it's a great console. It's one of the most perfect portables that I can think of, really. It's actually my second, actually a third portable console, sorry, not counting the Game Gear. The second one was DS, this is the third one. Basically, PSP, it's basically one of my gaming parts, in a way, one of my most important gaming history, basically, for me. You could play games, you could play films, you can play music, and you can even play PS1 games, Super Nintendo, Mega Drive, Genesis. Great, it's a great console. I would recommend it to anyone who wants to go into portables, who wants to collect for it. It's really cheap to collect for them at the moment. You can just get games for about £2, £2 really, and very good games as well. But anyway, this is the 3000 model, but yeah, I got about three of the 4 models released for it, so I'm just missing the PSP Go. But anyway, let me show you what's on the table at the moment. Here we got the PSP 1000, 2000 and 3000. As I mentioned before, I don't have a PSP Go at the moment, but so the PSP 1000 is the very first model. Hence the 1000. It's the very earliest model, the more heavy frame. I can see him in the camera. Hello. Basically it's a heavy frame. It's got the IR connection, and it's got more very heavier ejection, really, as it's got as you can see by the metal frame, which is not included in the later models. But this is the heaviest one. It's got 32 megs of RAM. Still uses 333 megahertz of power. It's this was the very first model. Very heavy, very sturdy. Very cool model. And then what we got in here, it's a PSP 2000. This one came in 2006, so 1 year after the release of 1000. This, as you can see, it's got actually very light ejection. As you can see, it opens more wider, really, to facilitate the insertion of UMDs there. This is 2000. So what I did is that it's called the Slim and Light model. Actually the weight is low. Actually, the weight is lighter than the 1000, way lighter. They increase the RAM, and the screen. I don't think there's been anything with the screen anyway. It's pretty fine anyway in that term. And I think they improve on the D-pad. This one is a bit with a stiffer D-pad, but this is better in terms of controlling and all that. And what else is there? Oh yes, they did introduce the AV connection out, so if you want to connect it to a TV through composite or component cable, that's how I film my gameplay, how I'm filming my gameplay videos at the moment. It's a very cool release, and then they released the 3000. This one I forgot when they did it. I think about 2008 and 2009, I think. What they did is basically they changed the logo here. As you can see, it says home in here. Yeah, there you go, sorry, home. And they replaced it with the PS logo. And then what they did is that they introduced the microphone here. And they changed the screen, which has got better contrast. However, there's a drawback, which is the image is interlaced, so you will see lines coming out. After a while, when you get used to it, it shouldn't be that much of a problem. I've been playing Gradius Collection without an issue, to be honest. They didn't do that much of a change, really. In both models now run at 64 megs rather than 32 megs. So in this case, these are better for if you want to emulate. for like web browsing, but it's useless now these days. So I recommend it for emulators to use these two models. They got very good emulators like yeah, Pico Drive, GSPSP I think it's called, which is the Game Boy Advance emulator, and yeah, Daedalus. Actually, no, sorry, I was confused. Daedalus X64, which is the Nintendo emulator, but it runs like a pain, like a snail on volume. Really, it's very slow emulation. The Nintendo 64 emulation on these two. So anyway, I would recommend to. Actually, there's a Super Nintendo emulation. It's very very good. So anyway, anything up until 32-bit, the PSP will emulate it, especially PS1. PS1 just perfect emulation. But yeah, what used as storage is basically either UMD for the games, which holds about 1.8 gigs maximum if it's dual layer. I'm assuming this is single layer, so it will be 900 megs. And this is the memory card. I don't have an official one a hand, so I got the Kingston adapter. It's a bit cracked here, still works perfectly anyway. Yeah. So, and here's the overview of the PSPs. So as you can see, those were my PSPs. Really, no review on my PSPs. Basically, yeah, I got. Probably I mentioned before that I had about 3 of the 4 models, but really there's a 5th model, which is the economic one. But it's not in the pipeline to get it really because it's cheap. I really want to get it when it's way cheaper, really. And to be honest, I don't see it. I prefer these models. Really, they're hackable. They're easier to hack for, and I think emulation-wise, these are better. But yeah, my history with the PSP really, it's history-wise as a gamer's perspective. The PSP is a wonderful console. It's basically having like a PS2 on the go. Actually, PS2-like quality, really on the go. And that was really what kicked off. That's what really why I wanted the console in the first place. Really, I was always fascinated by the portable PS2. Basically the modification I did to the PS2 make it portable, like a portable screen and everything. And I was always fascinated by that stuff. And so the PSP was a really good way to compensate really for all of that. And yeah. It's a great console. Some of you that play through UMDs might think it's noisy, but I really like the noisiness of it. It's like a Dreamcast, really. It's very actually the button structure is very similar to the Dreamcast in terms of like we got the D-pad and analog on the left side, and then on the right side, of course, you got the how's it called? How would you say them? The action buttons, and you only got just one, 2 shoulder buttons really, left and right. That's it. But yeah, the PSP has been a very innovative console, a very good competitor to Nintendo DS, and it's as you can see, they really hit off with the audience, and they've done different models. Really, you might think it's greedy, but really. It could still improve on the formula, improve on the design, and yeah, they've really done a good job. Really commend Sony for that. But I might be very Sony biased, as you're supposed to hear in the videos. But really, PSP on PS2 and PSP, I got really obscure titles, and I love obscure titles. And yeah, they come in cheap obscure titles, by the way, on the PSP. Yeah, you might get the usual Japanese one. That you might not find, but yeah. But really, if you go to like stuff like Computer Exchange and charity shops, or even cargo sales, they will stand for £4 really. So I would recommend, as I mentioned before, go for it. Do get it if you really want to get portable. The PSP will do it for you. You can play Game Boy Advance, Super Nintendo, Mega Drive, as I mentioned before, and it's having everything in one go, rather than if you can't afford to open Pandora or anything of a new, like what's it called, the GP32 and GP2X, now I forgot how they're called. Go for the PSP. It's cheaper. You can even emulate MAME on it, or Neo Geo. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so that was my history with the PSP, and I will see you in part 2.